3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. As we run towards the end of May, we still have a lot of live classroom content coming your way. A new newsletter just went out yesterday with tons of live content and a little sneak peek at June, which will be our Ocean Week themed events. We have a lot of action coming your way for June. And then at the end of June, we'll take a little pause. Everyone's going to be home for the summer. And we will regroup and be ready for another exciting school year come September. What we're getting up to today is one of my favorite things to do, and that is to go out live into the field with a really cool expedition. And this is our first time having a live event with the Around the Americas team. So they are just started an expedition, which will be a 14-month voyage. It just launched this month. And they're going to circumnavigate North and South America aboard the 48-foot sailboat One Ocean. This mission is going to focus on scientific research, education, and community outreach to raise awareness about ocean health. So it's building on an original journey that took place back in 2009, 2010, and they're going to be able to look at the changes. So 15 years ago, they got some baseline images and clips and research. And now they're going to get to look at how things have changed. So one of the key areas of research will be kelp forests along the coastlines of North and South America, looking at their health and their dynamics. And then all along the way, over the next 14 months, we will be doing these live connections from different places around North and South America. So let's get things started. They are currently in British Columbia. I'm going to bring them in live right now with the power of technology. Hey, team, how are we doing?
Hi, Joe.
Doing well, thank you. Welcome aboard our home for the next 14 months. This is the good ship One Ocean, and we're on Hansen Island, Blackfish Sound, at anchor. Beautiful, beautiful spot. And I'll tell you a little bit about the boat.
Perfect.
I'm Mark. I'm Mark. I'm co-owner of the boat. Next to me is the other half of the ownership of the boat, Jennifer Dalton and project director, Mike Beamer, the engineer on the boat. He's in charge of all the systems on board. And the person holding the camera is Grace Dalton. So you'll see her in a minute.
And I do want to jump in just for a second, Mark, because we also have Tess backstage. I want to bring Tess in.
Is Tess on? Hi, Tess.
Yeah, we got Tess there too. Hi, Tess.
She's loading.
Oh, her signal might, she's outside.
Okay. She may not have, she's our education outreach and social media coordinator, and she'll be joining us in Juneau, Alaska.
And for the duration of the trip.
Yeah, for the duration of the
so
trip.
You're going to hear a lot from her.
Hi, Tess. She just got lost. Okay.
All right.
So
she is there.
The boat, a little bit about the boat. Joe said 48 feet. That's right. Seems like much smaller sometimes. Seems like a little larger other times. And I'll show you around a little bit. Exiting the cockpit and looking aft. So this is called a masthead catch. The main mast is 61 feet high. The second mast, the mizzen, is about 32 feet high. We can walk around on the side deck. It's a pilot house. So in here, living space, and you'll see it when we go down below and talk to Mike. All very robust rigging. Remember, this is holding up something that's 61 feet high. The boat weighs 41,000 pounds. Might seem like a lot. That's like a loaded city bus, or 3 elephants if they're big. Lots of sails, a Genoa jib on the front, a staysail, the mainsail right here. Most of our sail controls all go back to the cockpit, so we can do a lot of things from the cockpit right back there where Jennifer and Mike are standing. He'll tell you a little bit about some equipment that's on the side, but it's a good working deck. It's a good platform. And I said we're at anchor. We have about 350 feet of chain, so we can anchor in some pretty deep spots. And safety gear everywhere, things to keep things from falling overboard. We'll have lifelines on when we're working out on the deck in any kind of conditions. So let's head on aft. Lots of features back there. The dinghy is back there on the swim step.
So let me jump in real quick here. So one of my jobs on board is power and engine propulsion. All that stuff is the engineer, making water, stuff like that. So we've got these 4 solar panels, which on a sunny day like today will keep all of our science going and our internet and things we need. And we, like Mark said, we have the dinghy and more safety gear in the back. I'll let him keep going on that. I do things like water making. We can turn seawater into fresh water, and just monitoring all the stuff we have to make sure that the crew is safe and we can get through the entire passage.
The dinghy on the swim step back there is rigged so that we can launch it pretty quickly because we're going to a lot of kelp sites. I don't remember how many, but it seems like hundreds. So the dinghy, we have to be able to launch it in different conditions safely. Nice swim step. So safety things, we have a life raft here. We actually have 2 of them on board that can be deployed in the event of a disaster. We have rescue stuff. The Star Pod allows us to do what we're doing today. We're communicating via satellite up to you and down again from us. And then we just keep moving forward.
I think Jennifer's going to do a nice tour down below.
Hi, everybody. Come on in and I'll show you the boat below. Here we have the main living area. This is where we eat all our meals and actually do a lot of our computer work right from here. We've got another navigation spot here, and you can see our Garmin, and that tells us where we're going, and it uses our charts. We have a fantastic galley that we cook in, even in very rough weather. It's in the center of the boat, and it keeps pretty calm. And we have the forward V berth, which is Tess and Grace's room. And then we also have our aft room that I'll show you real quick before we get into the research part. But here we have the engineer Mike's bunk, because it's right next to the important engine room here. And then we have another little small office. We have Captain Mark's bunk, and we have my bunk and another head. And this is our little office right here. But everything's coming together, and thanks for joining us. And a big shout out to Burlington Edison School District out there and all of you for joining. We really appreciate it. So here we are. Well, let's go to the research with our onboard scientist, Grace Dalton.
Hi everyone, so I'm the onboard scientist. We're doing a bunch of research on board. We're doing kelp research, whale research, and atmospheric oceanographic research. So one of the fun things that we're using is a drone. This cool little thing right here. We're doing a lot of kelp research where we go to kelp sites and we take a lot of imagery to figure out how these kelp forests are doing. So we want to figure out their health, we want to figure out what's impacting them, their density, their distribution, because kelp forests are very critical ecosystems for the ocean. We're also doing a lot of whale research as well. We're identifying photos of whales and flukes. Joe, if you want to play whale photo number 1, that is a whale fluke right there. So we're trying to get whale fluke imagery, and that's how we identify whales such as humpbacks. So we're taking lots of photos of some really cool whales, and this helps us protect these whales from impacts such as vessel strikes and entanglements. And now if I take you in the back, I can show you one of our research methods we use called a quadrat. Alrighty, so this big thing right here is called a quadrat. So we drop this at every single kelp site we're going to hit. We're going to hit around 40 kelp sites along the west coast of North and South America. So that's all the way from Alaska all the way down to Patagonia. So we're going to drop it. We throw it in the water at every site. There's one GoPro.
Grace, how many times? Not just one time.
Not just once. We throw it in the water at least 12 times at every site. So there's a GoPro at top that's looking down that is going to get a photo of the ground for us. And then also a camera on the side that gets a landscape photo. So this is one of the ways we study the kelp.
Can Joe play something for us?
Yes. Joe, if you would like to play Quadrat 1, this is imagery from this quadrat that we caught yesterday. So it shows some cool little fish imagery, and it also shows what the kelp forest looks like from underneath the water, which is hugely important because it shows us things like sea urchins that could be negatively impacting these kelp beds. Wonderful.
So
Yep.
sometimes there's something unexpected that's not under the water.
Yeah,
What
sometimes.
happened yesterday while you were looking at kelp?
Oh yes, we saw some bears, a mama bear and 3 cubs yesterday while we were studying kelp. So it's not always in the water. That's exciting. Yeah, so that's the research. We also have some atmospheric and oceanographic research on board that is being collected at the very top of this mass. It's stuff like relative humidity, water temperature, air temperature, pressure, and that's really important for studying things like the kelp, but also for studying things like the skin cool effect, and also truth finding what satellites are picking up, and we're going through those satellite areas to make sure everything is corresponding.
And if you're interested, it also is measuring how much the ship is rolling and pitching. So it will show you on the graphic, it will show you how much the mast is moving when we're in waves and how much the boat is pitching, and how fast we're going. So with wind speed and all of that, you'll know what a bumpy ride we may be having or what a pleasant ride we may be having.
All right. Perfect. Well, we've got a great group of classrooms. Some of them are live on camera with us. Some are tuning in live to the YouTube feed. So if you're a classroom hanging out on YouTube, don't be shy. Send us in some questions via the chat. I can see classrooms in Dalewood Middle School in Hamilton saying hey. I can see another group, grade 4s in Charleston, South Carolina. And then I think we've got Tess here. So let me play around here and try and bring Tess in to say hi. Hey, Tess, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Perfect. I know you tried to be outside with us, but sometimes technology doesn't cooperate. Looks like we got you indoors now.
Yes, yeah, I moved inside. I'll just do a little quick introduction. My name is Tess Shornack. I'm the Education Outreach and Social Media Manager for the One Ocean Expedition. So we're going to be documenting our entire journey around North and South America. So we're on all social media. So anyone can join us there. After these live classrooms, we'll still be on all social media platforms if you're interested in following along still.
Perfect. And I see that map being highlighted. Can we look at that map again? I'm going to make it nice and big. I want students to just get a scale for what you're sailing around over the next 14
Well, we can
months.
show you. We have our first dot on this, and it's just this one little dot. Where did it go? Right here.
This is how far we went.
And we have to go. Do you want to trace where we're going? I don't know how you guys can see. Oh, sorry.
There we go.
All right, up here across the Gulf of Alaska through the Aleutians, all the way around Alaska, and then through, this is the Northwest Passage as the ice melts in the summertime, and then down here between Greenland and Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, the East Coast, Caribbean, and then of course around Brazil, all the way down, and then the Falkland Islands is when Grace starts back up with kelp, all the way around Cape Horn, all the way up this side of South America, Central Mexico, Southern California, lots of kelp, and then we end up back in Anacortes where we started.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. So we really get that look at the one Americas that, you know, we're going around this one big island, and you'll be doing the research. You can see why it's going to take 14 months. That's going to be a pretty epic journey. And yeah, I think if you're up for it, we should change gears a little bit and start doing some questions.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'd love that.
Perfect. I'm going to bring Tess back in. I'll bring myself there as well. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a couple YouTube questions that have come in. Then I'll start to bring in some camera classrooms. Okay, so the first question I have here on YouTube. This is Miss Riddle's class. They want to know how you're going to deal with hurricane season.
Well, that's a very good question. We're going to try and avoid it. And hurricanes form in the Atlantic, sometimes on the eastern side of the Atlantic more than in the western side. So when we get to Florida, Puerto Rico, we'll head east, southeast to try and go around where hurricanes form. Otherwise, we're watching the weather very closely. hurricanes move relatively slowly, but so do sailboats. So we have to look a few days ahead. And we can watch if something is forming, and we can either stay in port or go in a different direction.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to grab another question here from YouTube. Let me change the view slightly. There we go. Will you be docking in Nova Scotia?
Oh,
Yes, happily saying yes to that. We will be docking in Nova Scotia. We're going to go to St. John's, Newfoundland, and then to Halifax. And there's lots of just gorgeous countryside there and people we met last time.
we'd love to connect. If there's a classroom out there, we would love to connect with them when we're there. Or they could come on down to the dock to see us.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that question came in because the group that sent it, they are, it looks like, I think some 7th graders. Let me double check our registration here. Yeah, some 7th graders. So maybe they'll come out and see
That's
you guys. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
7th graders can do a lot of work. We'll need it by that time.
No, they can follow us on our live tracker on our website, www.oneislandoneocean.com. We have a really good tracking system, and they'll be able to see when we come in.
Excellent. Well, let's start meeting some of our camera classrooms, and we'll go back for some more YouTube questions. So joining us in Quebec, in Canada, we have some 3rd graders with Madame Sylvie. So I'm going to grab them from backstage. Hey, 3rd graders, how we doing?
Good.
I see.
All right. I see what looks like a lineup. So I'm guessing there might be a lot of questions. So we should probably tackle some of them.
Okay, Thomas, your question. Do you think you're gonna see blue whales?
Ooh, yes, I really hope they're a bit more rare, but they're pretty common on this west coast, and I really hope we get to see them. I believe I saw them on the last expedition, so I think we will run into at least one. We saw a humpback yesterday, which was pretty fun.
Awesome.
Catherine.
When I was doing a diary,
No, quick question.
okay. I searched on whales on humpback.
Quick
whales.
question, please. Thank you.
My
Sorry.
question is, do you live inside a boat?
Do you live inside the boat?
Yes, we do. We're spending the full 14 months inside this 48-foot boat. So pretty tight, but we're all really good friends.
Here's one of the bedrooms. It's pretty spacious, actually.
Quick question.
What do you eat on the boat?
What do you eat on the boat?
Mike, do you want to answer that?
We eat regular food typically. We make bread and we cook dinner every night and eat kind of as a big family. And so we stop at port every couple of weeks and reprovision. And so we eat really well. Food is important to our culture. We like to eat. We like to share stories.
Joe, there might be a photo of some dinner that we've had in that shared drive.
Okay, let me take a quick look at the shared drive.
Had spaghetti and meatballs last night.
We're happy to take another question right now, though.
Yeah.
Have you seen any jellyfish?
Have you seen any jellyfish?
Yes, we've seen tons. I've seen it in person while doing the kelp sites, and you also catch it on the imagery too. You can see them kind of swim by the cameras, which is or float by, I want to say, the cameras.
They can't really swim.
Yeah, they can't really swim.
Last time on this trip that we're following the same route, we studied jellyfish and we took jellyfish samples the entire way around. So we're doing that more with kelp this time, but we'll see a lot of jellyfish.
Okay, I think I found the picture that we're wanting to share. Let me open up. There we go. This should be, looks like a tasty meal there.
What?
Nice. All right, I'm going to stop that screen share. Quebec, we're going to come back, I promise, for some more questions, but I do want to bring in some more of our camera classrooms. So in Burlington, Washington, we've got some 2nd graders hanging out with us. Let me get them into the call. Hey, 2nd graders, how are ya? There they are.
Woo!
All right, if you want to unmute that microphone, we would love some questions.
They're all cheering along there. Maybe Joe, you could play one. Oh,
There we go. We got them now.
So the biggest question this class has is we want to know the name of the Instapot. I told them maybe you hadn't decided yet, but they're pretty excited about the Instapot.
We are going with Kelpie, and we are going to paint some kelp on it and put the name on it. And so it'll be like that in all of our photography from here on out.
Yeah, we were waiting to paint it and share it with you guys. We just haven't got to that yet. We've been doing a lot of research, but Kelpie is the name of our Instapot. Thank you, everybody in Steph Campbell's second grade class for that.
All right. Very cool.
Raise your hand. Any other questions out here?
I see you sent a lot in the chat. So if you want to ask some of those, we'd love them. Okay. Yeah.
Oh. So do you want to read some of those out? Because I can only see you. I don't see the questions now.
Yeah, I can do that. So I've got a bunch here in the chat. So let's start with what other ocean animals have you seen so far?
Oh, well, actually, we've seen a ton. We've seen a lot of whales, orcas, humpbacks, but we've also caught a seal on our quadrat imagery. If you want to play 2 quadrat imagery, if you look very closely, you might see a fun little cute seal swimming by. So that's underwater footage.
Okay, put up your hands, you guys in second grade there, if you can see the seal.
I see it.
So,
yeah,
so that was pretty cool. That was our first seal sighting on the quadrat, hoping to get some more, but we've seen tons of wildlife, fish, seals, urchins, sea stars, all the fun things, bears. And if you want to play quadrat 3, that's got some cool fish imagery.
Sure. All right, here it comes.
Yeah, so some fun fish checking us out. They like to swim by and say hi to the quadrat when we're dropping it underwater.
Very cool. I was just diving in some different kelp forests, doing some free diving when I was in South Africa in kelp. And it was beautiful. We saw little sharks and octopus. Yeah, very nice. So those photos bring back some nice underwater memories.
Yes, kelp forests they're the habitat and ecosystems for so many different animals. They're pretty incredible.
All right. One more question here from our second graders. Does anybody get seasick? Was anyone seasick at the start of the voyage?
No one got seasick. Thankfully, I did have to wear this little seasick patch that goes right behind my ear, to help prevent me. So I did have to take some preventative measures, but no one got seasick so far. Knock on wood.
I'm sure we will.
All right. Second graders, I'm going to tuck you backstage, but if you have a couple more questions, I'll check on you in a little bit. I want to go back to our YouTube because we have more questions here. Okay, so we have a crew in Hamilton, Ontario. They're going into high school shortly. And Tess, this question's for you specifically. They want to know, are there any subjects you took in high school that helped put you on this path for like social media and education outreach and things like that?
Yeah, more so it's been my college classes that have kind of inspired me to lean more towards education as well as ocean sciences. Right now I'm studying environmental science with a marine emphasis here at Western Washington University. So that has really made me excited about sharing this message. And I'm also on the sailing team there. So sailing as well as ocean science has really been huge for me. But yeah, as far as social media goes, I just know our message is really to connect people all throughout North and South America. And a huge way to do that today is through social media. So really utilizing that and gaining more connections with more people is super important right now.
All right, perfect. Another question from our crew in Hamilton. They want to know, do you have the resources you need on board right now, or will you be replenishing along the way?
Well, we can carry a lot of water, and we have a water maker. We can make drinking water out of seawater. So we have enough water. We have provisions that we could probably, if we had to stretch it and there was, we were stuck someplace, we could last probably 2 months with the food that's on board. And that food is stored all in a whole bunch of different places every little cubbyhole has something important in it. I think Mike is going to open up one of them now. So
Yep.
I don't
Snacks.
know.
Healthy snacks.
So generally speaking, we do. There are provision stops even through the Northwest Passage, 3 or 4 of them if we need something. We feel pretty well supplied.
All right, very cool. Well, we have a classroom joining us today from Charleston, South Carolina. And first of all, they're excited because they their school is close to the marina where it looks like you're going to stop.
Oh,
So they
wow.
yeah,
Fantastic.
They either want to invite you to come see them, or maybe they can come find time to come see you guys. So they're a 4th grade class, looks like.
Absolutely. And please have them fill out a form on our website, and we would love to connect with them because that would be really fun for us.
Perfect. And so they're curious, what will you be doing around the Charleston area?
Well, the Charleston is an important stop because from Charleston we may head more out into the Atlantic rather than going south directly. So it will
Hurricanes.
be what?
Because of hurricanes.
But yes, because of hurricanes. It's a provisioning stop. We've been in and out of Charleston a number of times, and it's a wonderful place to visit. People are extremely friendly. Anything we need for One Ocean, I'm sure we can source there. And lots of helpers. So this class is invited. You get a special invitation to come down to the boat as soon as we get there, and you'll have to watch the website for the specific dates.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
And tell them you're more than welcome to fill out the form online and connect, and you'll be connecting with Tess or myself, Jennifer Dalton, and we would love to maybe come over to your classroom as well. So happy to hear from you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. So Ms. Colburn's crew here. We're going to go one more question from YouTube, and then we'll go back to our camera crews. Do you have anybody off of the ship outside of your team that you can lean on for more information, like maybe a species you couldn't identify or questions that might come up?
Yeah.
Yes. So we have huge support outside this ship. It took like a year of work to just get ready. So we have tons of support for the boat, for our planning, for our ports. We also have tons of support for the research. I'm working with University of Victoria, UCLA in California, Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, and University of Washington Applied Physics Lab for all of the science on board. So I have a ton of professionals and experts in the field that I can reach out to and ask for help and advice. So tons of support off the boat. There is just 5 of us on here, but it took a whole community to have this come together and happen.
And with the communication we have on board, we can connect directly with the Applied Physics Lab, University of Washington. And a scientist there has been working with the Ice Center. He's been studying ice in the Arctic for a long time. So he's an advisor in that respect, and he may come aboard with us for a short period of time as we get north above Canada.
And so we have tons of support. Another one is BC Whales, North Coast Cetacean Society. They are experts in humpbacks, orcas, fin whales, all of that. So I get to send off my whale photos to them, and they get to ID the whales. So they get to say if it's someone named Yoda or Triangle, and then they will send it back to me. So I get to see if the whales have any names and who they are.
Perfect. Very cool. Well, let's check in with our camera crews one more time. So, Madame Sylvie's crew, do you guys have a couple more questions?
If you haven't had a turn. Okay, Ava.
Can you guys see shark?
Do you see sharks?
Probably when we get.
I'm sure we will. We saw sharks last time. We didn't go swimming with any. We did go swimming with hammerhead sharks, as a matter of fact, last time around the Cocos Islands in the Pacific. That was a pretty amazing experience. I would expect that, we may be able to do the same thing this time.
Okay, question, quick, Brian.
When did you start your communities? Like, when did you start, like, your program thingy, whatever it's...
When did you start to prepare for this?
Oh, you
Oh,
want me to talk about that?
well, we really started 15 years ago.
We've been working really hard this past year. We've already been connecting. We've been presenting at classrooms. We presented a lot at our home base in Skagit Valley, in Washington State, but then we've also presented as we've been underway already. So we've been going to classrooms and connecting with students. And then also all kinds of media we've been talking to and getting articles written about the project as well. So,
Well, and we bought the boat when?
gosh, we bought the boat just over a year ago. So all of this has been happening really fast. And we truly have, as a team, been working nonstop. And it's been really nice for us because we were working in our regular jobs and regular lives and doing this project. And now we're kind of more focused on just the project. And that's been a really big help.
And Mike's vocation has been teaching other people how to work on boats.
Yeah, that's what I do as I'm a teacher, and I teach people how to fix boats, electrical and stuff, mechanical stuff. And so we actually had this boat at the Marine Tech School, and students were learning about electrical, got to install batteries and stuff that we're using right now. And so it was real authentic learning, and that's what we do. So we spent most of that year fixing up the boat. It's a 30-year-old boat, and getting it ready truly to do this kind of an expedition.
Yeah, and we've had field trips come to the boat as well from Burlington Edison School District. And yeah, it's been fantastic.
Very cool. Let's get maybe one or two more questions from our third graders in Quebec.
How do you wash your clothes?
Oh dear.
Oh, yes. Well, in a bucket.
In a bucket.
We don't have a wash machine on board. So in ports, we'll have to find a laundromat or somebody's house where we can borrow a wash machine and a dryer. We didn't have room. We wanted to have a washer and a dryer combo on board. There just isn't room. So you have to be careful with your clothes, and we can wash them out in the shower and hang them in the furnace room to dry.
Great question.
All right, one more, Quebec.
James, quick.
How many countries have you been to?
Oh,
Well, they
two
haven't
so far.
Just
Two so far, and I think on the voyage we're going to 53 different ports,
And
probably more than that, and I think it's 12 countries.
I think it's 12 countries so far. We left America to come to Canada. Then we go back into America through Alaska, and then we go back into Canada and a long ways through beautiful, beautiful Canada.
All right. Thanks, third graders, for those great questions. Give us a big wave, Quebec. Great to have you hanging out with us today.
Out there waving.
Very cool. Okay, let's go to the other side, the Pacific side, and let's see if we have a question or two from our second graders.
Oh, we're on live, huh? Sorry,
That's okay. We got you.
They had asked if anyone has been in a hurricane before. Has anyone on this crew been in a hurricane?
I guess I'm the only one. I don't want to do it again. It was Hurricane Earl, and it was in 1986 or 7. I don't remember exactly which. And I thought I knew something about weather and where I should go, and I made exactly the wrong moves and ended up in the middle of Hurricane Earl. And it wasn't a pleasant experience, but boat survived. I survived. I felt a little humbled by the fact that I'd actually hit the eye of the hurricane. And it happened to be during a race around the world. So I didn't advance very fast on that leg of the race.
Did you know, kids, that Captain Mark here has sailed around the world twice, and then he did this expedition, which is the same number of miles as sailing around the world, 27,000 miles.
Wow. 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 Wow.
All right, second graders, you got one more question there for us?
So the other one the kids asked me is, were the hammerheads tame that you swam with, or were they wild hammerhead sharks?
These were wild hammerhead sharks, and we wouldn't have gone in the water, but we had an oceanographer with us who jumped in the water, dove right in because she saw this pod of hammerheads with little babies at the bottom of this beautiful sandy spit. And she said, no, they're usually just fine. So we took that to mean she knew what she was talking about. And luckily she did. They didn't bother us at all. And we got just gorgeous views. I don't know that that's how typically they behave. So be careful, get someone's advice. But it was amazing.
All right. Thanks, second graders. Those were some awesome questions. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Yay. So wave to them. Say,
All right. Let's check in YouTube one more time. I know we have a few more questions here before we say goodbye for today. Let's see what we've got. Oh, okay. So this, a couple more here. Kelp forests. Are they completely wrapped around the Americas? Are they in certain spots? How are you finding those kelp forests?
So the ones that we are specifically studying, which is floating canopy kelp, is found just on the west coast mainly. So there is kelp on the east coast, but it is more of a underneath the water type of kelp. And the way we are studying kelp is through a lot of aerial photos. So this is our drone that we fly. You can see the big camera right there. And so the way we collect the data is through aerial photos, so that the kelp needs to be on the surface floating. So we're studying bull and giant kelp all around the west coast. But yes, you can find different species of kelp all around the North and South Americas, but we're just focusing on 2 specific species.
Okay. And then, I mean, students are always curious about how life is different. And some of them are thinking about healthcare. So is somebody first aid certified? What would you do in an emergency?
Well, yes. So we all had a medical first aid training weekend, actually.
Advanced, yes.
Advanced, for outdoor wilderness. So we all got trained up in that. We've got a lot of medical gear.
Well, also we have our friend who is that we can call and talk to if there's any real emergency, but we all have been trained and we have cupboards filled with training, medical supply, equipment, and yeah, so hopefully we won't ever have to really need it, but yes, we are trained and we do have access to medical help.
And we take safety very seriously. We have things labeled for safety things that, we have to get out quickly. The medical cupboard is next to it.
Safety.
Safety, and there
medicals over
if we
there.
had to leave the ship in a hurry, to get into a lifeboat. Those things are right under there, and everybody will know that comes on board where everything is.
And I have a good friend who's very worried about our teeth, so we make sure we all floss and brush every day, several times a day.
There we go. Before we sign off, because we've talked about this a few times, there's already classrooms who are going to be in the path of your journey. I want to share the website here on my screen. So just give me a second here. Let's pick the right one.
And Joe, when we come on again, we have these buoys that will be dropping in the water, and that will be out by, we'll be going through Unalaska, the Aleutian chains up that way, and we'll be dropping a first buoy, and we hope to have a live classroom then, and we're hoping everybody can join us for that, because that will be pretty interesting. We'll be out in the big water then.
Perfect. Yeah, we will absolutely narrow down that date and we'll get it pushed out to classrooms. I have a feeling that we can get more than one classroom hanging out with us, which will be fun.
That'd be really cool.
And I want to share the website here. Let me make it full screen. So Tess, maybe you want to talk a little bit about the website, because I know obviously you had a hand in its creation. There'll probably be some education activities up there and ways to follow along. So do you want to just touch on the website a little bit?
Yes, totally. So all of you, I think you can see the little boat there on the website, but that's where you can follow along with where we're at. We're also able to put some pictures in there as we're going, so you can see like for what exact latitude, longitude we're seeing there, which is really cool. If you're interested, you can also go on our website, and under our education tab, you can find a way to contact us and set up, either join one of these live classrooms here or also contact us to meet your classroom live in person if that goes along with our route. So that's super exciting. But yeah, everything is really easily accessible there on our website. You can see our social media, our blogs. We're doing blogs as well. So our website is really accessible for everything, and whatever you're interested in, you can find there. But yeah, please go on there, check it out, and you can kind of see where we're at, which is also super cool.
All right, very cool. So oneisland1ocean.com. I love these expedition maps. They're so cool. And it's going to be really neat. It's just a little red line to start, but it is going to keep going all the way around. So that is very cool. We can't wait to follow along and watch the red line make its way around this giant island that we call the Americas.
Exactly.
Cool.
That's what I was going to say. We went with One Island, One Ocean because the first time Captain Mark did this expedition, a book came out and it was titled One Island, One Ocean, because they look at North and South America as one island and that we're all connected with one ocean and we should all be taking care of it.
Yep. We've got some great feedback from classrooms already saying this was amazing. Thank you for all the great info. Wow.
Thank you, everyone.
It's going to be cool. So yeah, this is just the beginning. Things might get a little quiet July and August, but I think we should definitely do some updates while classrooms are on summer vacay. And then come September, we can do more and more of these live connections as you guys make your way around Canada, the US, South America. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Really, thank you so much, Joe, for hosting us. And thank you to all the classrooms out there who've connected in with us. We really appreciate it. And we're super excited to share this journey with all of you. So thanks for the great questions, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We're going to sign off for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.